absolutely. But do you think is this going to help Microsoft get to the mainstream? Because certainly they're looking now at the Wii outselling them 4-1 every month. Brian, do you think is this what Microsoft needs to be doing, or does it feel a little bit like putting a Band-Aid on a problem that is much deeper than just motion control?
I think that they're going in the right direction. I mean, they've done a really good job of courting the hardcore gamer. I'd be surprised if there wasn't a price drop announced close to or at E3, which would tie in very well with maybe coming out with another SKU that has some sort of peripheral that could be like the Wii Remote, and sort of package it as, here's our answer for the casual gamer. We've got a cheaper console.
But doesn't it feel so Me Too? I mean, like you mentioned, there's rumors online about them doing 3D avatars and this motion controller, and even if they're $250. Why would a consumer buy this system instead of a Wii?
Sorry, I didn't mean to stop you. But I don't think consumers are out there. I don't think they care. I think that they're going to look at what they're going to get for that price and decide they want to do this or do that. They don't care who came out with it first. Just whichever fits better.
I still can't get Grand Theft Auto for the Wii. So,
right.
I mean,
But it's not moving hardware.
No, but I mean, I don't know. It sounds like everybody's worried for Microsoft. I mean, if you own an Xbox, I think that you've been getting fantastic
the existing
games
audience
for a while.
is great, but you look at the sales last month; they were in third place in terms of sales, and I think some people feel like they may have stalled, and that Xbox Live was great when it came out a couple of years ago, but now it's like Live hasn't really evolved, and you see Sony evolving their service, and they're satisfying the existing hardcore gamers, and like everyone loves the hardcore games that are coming out, but there's this obviously wider audience which they completely missed, which when they were first talking about 360, that's what they were talking about, is why the console was white instead of black, is that they were going for these mainstream consumers, and Guy, I mean, they've completely missed that audience, right?
Well, the challenge for them is even if, let's say, they get down to the same price point at the Wii, $250, I don't think the consumer is going to look at those machines side by side and say, well, I'm weighing one versus the other. The Wii is considered to be providing a very different experience. Right. When I think of my friends who aren't regular gamers, who didn't own consoles, they want Wiis, they're hearing about the Wii, they think that that is an experience that's accessible to them, that's for them. And I don't think that sort of layering this stuff on top of it that's sold separately, that doesn't come in the box, and maybe Microsoft will bundle it to try and create their own Wii experience out of the box. But even if you look at the design, the tilt, there's so many things that Nintendo did that define the Wii experience that I just don't think Microsoft can show up with a motion controller and some games from Rare and say, like, okay, we're here now, we're ready to compete.
It comes down, I mean, what do they have that killer game? What's interesting, Lips, which sounds like a SingStar clone. I mean, is that really going to do anything? I mean, what's that magic game? I think no one's heard any rumors about that one game that's going to, outdo Nintendo.
I mean, I think Ngai's right. The thing is that Nintendo, when they first announced the Wii, they said, we're taking a different path. So they're way out in left field now, and it just so happens that left field is populated with a whole bunch of people who want to spend money. Yeah. And now you have Microsoft and Sony.
Over there.
Yeah, and they're not going to, you can't just go that way. I mean, you can't suddenly say we're over where Wii is. And I think Microsoft has to be really careful about not trying to match the Wii, but still provide an experience similar to it.
But in fairness to Microsoft, they're going in a bunch of different directions. I mean, they've got community games, what I'm saying, so they're trying for the YouTube model and the indie game model and whatnot. They're going to continue to do Seen It and other games like that, and Lips to try and get the casual audience. And they've got Gears and Halo Wars and whatever the Peter Jackson project is for the hardcore. I think, though, that they need to be more confident about what they're about and try to just get to the essence of what they are. And I don't think chasing what Nintendo's good at or chasing what Sony's good at is going to ultimately serve them that well, because
then
aren't
they
other people are defining
online?
their space.
Isn't that what they've talked about? They're the best at online. I think everyone still agrees that Live is the best online experience. And there's talk about, are they going to introduce a 3D version of Live or sort of some new version of Live? Stephen, I mean, do you think are they sort of falling behind a little bit with online, and that they haven't really innovated in a couple of years in the online space? And also, I think there could be a risk that they alienate some of these hardcore gamers if they veer too much in the sort of Nintendo direction.
Right. Well, I think it's notable that they didn't do a spring dashboard update, and so a lot of the speculation is that they'll have a grander update when the fall rolls around. I mean, we're talking a lot about sort of whether they should be chasing Nintendo, and I think Ngai's right to say that they need to come more to grips with just who they are and their own platform identity. And I don't think any hardcore gamer would be satisfied just owning a Wii. And as long as Microsoft can still find a way to sell their console and the games on it to the hardcore audience, then they should be fine.
But that's a number 2 business when they want to be the number 1 company out there, right?
But the rules have sort of changed, and to be number one, you need to reach larger than the hardcore audience, and I don't think that they're going to find nearly the success that Nintendo has found doing that for all the reasons.
Do they need then a
articulated
second
already.
console for, do they need a Y box?
No,
for
if
the
they
mainstream?
had maybe they need to bring
Why?
back the original, bring back the original Xbox and shrink it down or something like that, because clearly there's room for lower spec machines that can sort of achieve a more casual experience, and they have given they didn't allow themselves that opportunity this generation, and it may be not till next generation that the 360 can then become their number 2 console in terms of horsepower, but maybe their leading console towards reaching out to a broader audience.
See, I think they run a real risk of concentrating so much on the Wii that they're going to be blindsided by the PlayStation 3. Because the real tooth and nail battle is with the PlayStation 3. They're going after the same audience. It's funny when you look at when the Wii was coming out and you had people at Microsoft saying, oh, the people are going to go out and buy the Wii and the 360. That's going to be the
The
dream
Wii will be
team.
the gimmick that'll,
But that didn't happen.
Right.
And I don't see it happening. I think people are going to choose one platform and stick to it.
So do we have any predictions for any surprises that we're expecting from Microsoft at E3? What do you want to hear from them? Or you hear any good tips about anything that we're going to maybe hear some rumors of? Peter Jackson's Halo Chronicles, we're going to hear about that. There's rumors that we might hear of a Killer Instinct coming from Rare. Anything else that you guys are picking up that might be something to stay tuned for at E3?
I think maybe 3D Realms gets on stage and says, Duke Nukem Forever exclusive to 360 or some future Microsoft platform whenever they're ready to ship.
Do you think we may hear about more sort of exclusive games from third parties? I've heard rumors that Microsoft is going out pretty aggressively, spending a lot of money to get some exclusive windows on certain games. Do you think we're going to see more of that at E3?
Maybe we'll see Splinter Cell again.
Splinter Cell will finally ship later
come
this year,
back,
next year.
continue to be
That exclusive
exclusive.
window may still be going on that.
Well, I mean, seeing as how Microsoft Game Studios seems to be shrinking, then it behooves them to be going out and attaining third-party exclusives. I mean, and certainly we should be hearing more about the Grand Theft Auto downloadable content coming through.
Maybe.
There's absolutely something to crow about. Well, at least a reminder that it exists. I mean, they didn't publicize it too widely when the game shipped. It barely even mentioned on the box that they had it. So I expect them to push that more and at least begin with Rockstar to define what it's going to be a little bit more clearly than what we've heard. And I think that's very important. I mean, I think that you can't underestimate these days now the way that some games that are already out may evolve in ways that they become newly significant. So we could be seeing on the Xbox as well as the PS3 Grand Theft Auto and Burnout Paradise, another game where there's an aggressive bonus
DLC,
downloadable content plan in store. We could see those games kind of resurging in popularity and relevance the way that MMOs traditionally on the PC, when they get a major patch or an expansion, become newly relevant to that audience. And so, I mean, it could be that the big games for the Xbox 360 for the fall are in part games that we've already been playing for much of this year, but kind of reborn or improved or, added to.
Interesting. Maybe that Perfect Dark DLC is still coming?
I can't wait.
And Guy, Brian, anything else we should look forward to at E3, do you think?
No code switching on stage.
All right, words to live by. When we come back, we're switching to another competitor of the Xbox 360. It's the PlayStation 3. What is Sony going to do at E3? You can find out next time right here in the bonus round.
Next time on the bonus round, it's PlayStation 3. What can we expect from Sony at E3?
Their financial predictions show that they're not planning to cut price.
Does the PS3 really have a shot at winning the console war?
What I think that they have the ability to do that I don't think Microsoft has as much the ability to do is to tap into some of that mainstream or casual crossover audience.
And what the heck ever happened to home?
I could see them dating it at E3. I don't think it's going to be coming, I don't know, maybe it could come for this holiday.
Find out next time only in the bonus round E3 preview.
Bonus round.